I create this video for someone who would like to play with 18xx games but doesn't know how to start. And I will make this video public because maybe it will be useful for someone else as well. There are a lot of videos, what is 18xx game, and also from, for example, Shikoku or other 18xx games, there are training videos as well, but it can be overwhelming. And it's very difficult for a beginner how to start and to understand the basic concept of these games. And I would like to help with this video. This is the first video where I will show you in a physical game and explain some basics. And there will be another video when I will show you how you can play it online, because there is a very good online tool to play these games, so you can practice. As soon as you play with one of the 18xx games, you can play with the others as well. You just have to read the differences and go quickly through the rules, but you don't have to learn from zero the new game. They are very similar. Sometimes if an outsider sees them, he can say that this is totally the same game, but that's not true. They can be very different and can give you a different game feeling. So let's start. I will give this introduction through Shikoku 1889, because this game is good for beginners, and actually this was created with this intention that a beginner can start with this game. Usually if someone looks at the board of an 18xx game, they say that this is so ugly, so there is no design, they doesn't really look good. And with Shikoku, they try to create this game a little bit prettier. There is a nice first player token, and also there are trains in the game, which is I think totally useless, so it doesn't really necessary because it's just used for the initial auction. But they really try to make it prettier and more friendly, so more people will try to learn these games, because it's really a great series. There are more than 100, or I don't know, maybe 200 games in this family, so really a lot of games. There are similarities, of course, but different things as well. First of all, the map and where it plays, but there are rule differences as well, of course. So regarding Shikoku, this is a beginner game. It contains the basic concepts of these games. In the game, we are investors who buy shares in railway companies, and buy and sell shares sometimes, because sometimes we fear that the company doesn't do well, doesn't give us the proper revenue, so we will sell the share and buy share from another company. Very important, and really keep in mind, it's important to understand that you as a player have money, and from this money you will buy shares, and you will receive money through dividends when the companies pay out dividends. This is your money. But also companies have money. They use this money to build the roads or the railways, and buy trains, and make revenue. And these companies also manage their money. If you are the biggest shareholder of a company, then you will manage the company's money. So you will have a little board which is called charter, and this is, for example, the Tosa Kuroshio Railroad Company. This is the charter of this company. You will have the company's money here, and the trains and everything which is necessary here on this little board. But also separately you will have your own money. and you never mix. You cannot, you shouldn't mix those, and you have to be, you know, aware and when to use the company money and when to use your money. And it's important to know that in the end of the game, only counts how much money the player has. So your money, not the company money. It doesn't matter how much money will be on this charter. It just matters how much money you have. So you have to invest in the proper companies. And if you manage those companies, you have to, you know, do it well and make the highest revenue as much as possible, so you can pay out dividend to you and others as well. And then from this dividend you will have the biggest money, as you know, as much as you can. Okay, and so let's see first the phases, or how a round is going. So here we have a very cute chart. So first we have a stock round or share round, SR. Share round, when we can buy and sell shares from the companies. These are the companies, these colored ones. And then we will have an operating round, when these companies will operate. So they will work, they will, you know, build the networks and buy trains and pay out dividend and so on. So this is the operating round. And again a share round. So in the beginning of the game, we will just have one share round, one operating round, one share, one operating, and so on. As soon as we will go to the second phase of the game, to the green phase, we will have one share round and two operating round. So one share round, two operating round. And later, when we go to the brown phase of the game, we will have one share round and three operating rounds. And in almost every 18 access game, it's similar. So there is a share round, operating round. Sometimes there is a third one, for example, a parliament round, but that doesn't matter now. So you just have to understand that this is how it goes. And regarding the colors, this yellow, green, and brown, this is also very similar for every game. And you see these colors, this yellow, green, and brown, on the tiles as well. And this means that until we start with the yellow phase, until we are in the yellow phase, we can just put to the map these yellow tiles, and we will have, you know, one operating round, as I just said. As soon as we go to the green phase, we can upgrade the yellow tiles to green ones. So green ones cannot be put it on the map on its own, but we have to, you know, remove a yellow one and upgrade it to a green one. But we can do it only if we are in the green phase. And sorry, similar with the brown one, we can upgrade the green tile with the brown one, but only if we are in the brown phase. And phases are changing, depends on how we buy trains. And what is a train exactly? So trains are not this one, so not these. I mean, these are trains, but those are used for others. And usually 18 access game doesn't have any train at all. So it's very funny that these are train games, but they don't have trains in it. So trains are tracked with these little cards. So this is a 2 train, very important, the number. I will tell you what does it mean, but this is a 2 train, this is a 3, and so on. So these are the trains which will help us to make revenue. And if we see the game phases table for this Shikoku, we see that in the first phase we have 2 trains. We are in the yellow phase. And there is a train limit, how much one company, how many trains it can have. So, for example, in the 2 phase, it can just have 4 trains, so just 4 these cards in this phase. And also, here there are some other rules as well regarding the phases, but that doesn't matter now. As soon as All the 2 trains are bought by the player, so there is no 2 trains anymore. Players start to buy the 3 trains, number 3 trains. And as soon as one of these trains are bought, we will go to the green phase. So here you see that there are not just the yellow tiles, but the green tiles as well. So we go to the green phase, and from the next share round, we will have more operating round in the game. And if we buy, all the 3 trains were sold, then someone is buying a 4 train, then nothing will happen, so we will still be in the green phase because there is no change here. If we buy a 5 train, we will go to the brown phase. We can upgrade the tiles to brown tiles, and also we will have more operating ground. So this is how the phases will change in the game. Depends on how we buy the trains. So we have to buy the trains. And the next very important terminology which you need to understand is the rusting. What is rusting or train rusting? Because here we see that as soon as someone buys a 4 train, the train rusted column shows the 2 train, which means if someone is buying the 4 train, all the 2 trains are discarded. So the rusting means that it's not useful anymore, it's an old technology, so it's maybe not safe, so those 2 trains are not used anymore. And you will see that when the 3 trains will be rusted, so you have to make sure that you buy a better train before you have to discard all your 3 trains, and also the 4 trains. You see that the 5 trains are never discarded, never rusted, so you can keep it permanently. So those are very good, but of course you have to go, reach that phase to be able to buy a 5 train. And in every game this is how it works, but there are differences with the 18xx game. For example, in 18 Mag, which is about Hungary, my country, there is no rusting. You can buy from the first step 3 or 4 train, so this rusting it's not working as it is. But in other games, so in generally this is how it works, that you have to buy the smaller trains first and then the bigger and so on, and then this is how the phases will change. Yellow phase, you can just put yellow tiles on the train on the map. Green, you can upgrade the yellow tiles to green and brown and so on, and there will be a change in how many operating grounds we will have. Alright, so let's go to the steps how a round is going. So first, this is the stock round or share round, what you are doing. Players will have some kind of initial money, so they can buy shares from the big companies. But first, I didn't speak about the private companies. Not in every game, but in a lot of games and almost in all, there are some private companies. As I told you, these colored ones which have charter, they are the big companies. These are the small companies, so-called private companies. It's private because it's for the player. It's private for the player. In the beginning of the game, usually you can auction. There is an auction how you will receive these private companies, and it will be given to the players. And this is, for example, in Shikoku, you use these trains for the auction. For a beginner game, these are randomly assigned to the players. But as soon as a player has this private company, there is a face value. This is the value which he or she paid for this train. And in every operating round, so when we have this OR, beginning of the OR, the player will receive such money, which is on the top right, or not top right, but the bottom right. So we receive this money after this private company. So this is what it's used. In the games, the big companies will be able to buy these private companies from the players later, not in the beginning, but later. And which will mean that these big companies will receive this revenue, not the player itself. But if the player, if this company will remain in the player's hand, in the end of the game, usually this will be given as a money at the end of the game. So the face value will given to the player. Usually these private companies are closing, so there is a certain time based on the phases table when the private companies close. So for example, in Shikoku, when the 5 train is bought, there are some changes and private companies close except one. But this is just a rule that it's closing, which means that it will not give you the revenue from the next OR. But this is the private company just for revenue, and also there are some abilities which these companies give you. So there are very important abilities, and this is why you choose one of them. For example, one of them you can ignore the cost of laying a tile on a mountain, which is usually very expensive because it's not easy to build a railroad on the mountains. So there are some abilities as well. Or maybe if you discard this private company, you receive a share from a big company and so on. But this is just small thing. You can learn it, and it's not difficult to understand. Okay, so players will have this private company, and then we go to the first stock round or share round, and players will have some money in their hand, and they can buy shares from the companies. So let's see how it looks like. So if you see, one company has 100% share, of course. And always there is a bigger one. It's sometimes 20, but there are games with 30%. This is the director share, so or president share, certificate or share. So this is for the president. Who has the most shares from the company will be the president, and will manage these charters, and will manage the company itself, and run the trains, and decide what this company will do. This is the president's job, and this is why we have a bigger share always. And there are the others as well. Altogether it's 100%. For the first share round, if someone buys a share, it has to be the president's share in this game. But usually it's true for all, maybe not all. Sometimes there are just 10% shares, and you just buy it, and as soon as you have the most, you are the president, and so on. But here and in a lot of games, there is a president certificate. So you decide that you would like to buy this 20%. Okay, but for how much? You have to decide the so-called par price. This is the initial price of the shares. You have to decide it. In every game there is a range from A to B, how much you can decide. And here we see this share table and or stock market. And here with pink, you see the original par values, and also visible here. So this is from 65 to 100. You can decide which one. It's up to you, actually, how much money you have and how much money you would like to spend. So maybe I decide that the initial price would be 100. So I put this price marker here, which means that 10% share is 100 yen or dollar or whatever in this in the game which you are playing in this Japanese yen. So actually 20% share will cost you 200 money. So you pay 200 and receive this 20% share. And everyone will buy it and so on, and as soon as the company will float, which I will tell you what does it mean, you will receive the charter and some money, and this company can operate. So if just 20% is bought and we go to the operating run, this company will not work, it will not operate, so it will just, I don't know, so it's not working yet. But as soon as 50% of the shares, so half of the shares are bought by the players, not one player but more than one, so but of course it can be one as well, but maybe more than one player just bought, shares. He bought this one, he bought, and they bought this one, and which means that 50% is already out, so it's bought. Then this company floats, which means that in Shikoku it will receive the price multiple with 10. So actually all the share prices, so the value of the shares, because if we one share is 100, then 10 is 1000. So this company will receive 1000 yen. And then this company can operate from this money, from that now on. And who will do that? It's the director. So who has the director share? The person, the player, will operate this company. So this is the share round, and also later you can sell your share to the market, and usually if you sell, the share price will go down and so on. So the share price will move on the stock market, of course. For example, if you pay out dividend, it will go up because the shareholders are happy. If you don't pay out dividend but keep the money for the company, then it will go down. I will not speak about this one because this is easy to understand. So let's assume that this company 50% was bought, it's already floated, so it started to work, and then we go to the operating ground. And in the operating ground, the companies which are floated, they will work. The rest will not work. So if there are shares with the players, but the company is not floated yet, they will not operate. They will just sit there. And then there are steps with the operating grounds, what a company can do in this order. It's very important in the operating round. First, the company can lay ties. So actually this is a network building game, or there is a map and you build the best network as much as you can, because that one will give you revenue. So let's see the map a little bit. So this is the map, this is Shikoku Island, and there are always, or usually there are some recognizable icons on the maps. For example, if there is a circle, maybe I'll go closer. So if there is a big circle, that means it's a big city. So usually it's a big city. If there is a small one with not a white one, I will show you different maps just to see. That's a town, a small city. Sometimes you see mountains, and there is some amount there, how much it costs to lay any tile on a mountain, because as I said, it's difficult to build railways near or on the mountains. And also there are some waters, usually that one also very expensive, so there is money how much you have to pay to lay a tile. if there is no money, it's free in this game. You can play tile for free, but sometimes, for example, in 1846, you have to pay to lay a tile, but usually it's free, except if there is a carrying cost. So big cities, small cities, and so on. And also there are some places where you see the company names, so Uwaijima and Tokushima and so on. These are the company's names. So for example, we have this one, this Tosa Electric Rail, with this icon. We can see that this is where the company will start. So as soon as the company starts to operate, the company will put this marker, this home marker, home token here when it's needed. So you see those icons on the map. This is where the company will start. So actually when you buy a share and you want to decide which company you would like to buy a share, first you have to see the map. So where is the company, how much revenue it will give us. If it's closer to the mountains, maybe it will be expensive to build roads there or railways there. So long term you will see that this will be an important decision, but this will start here. And when we have the operating run and it can lay track, it can lay yellow tracks because we are in the yellow phase. And it's very important that these tracks where you see the circle can be put on the circles. So when there is a city, and also on the city you cannot put a tile which doesn't have a circle. And this will be true for the small towns as well. And for example, if there are letters for here the K or T, then you can just put there some tiles which have the K and the T letter on it. So you have to keep an eye on that. But for example, you can put this tile here, and it's important that the tile which you are laying, it has to be connected to your current railroad. So you just cannot put it somewhere in the middle. And why would you do that? So you just would like to build a railroad, and it has to be connected to one of your token, because maybe you will have later more tokens. And then you just build and build further and so on. And maybe you will connect it to here, but there is no connection here. So I will just try to simulate something maybe like this. Yes, like this, and go here to this city, something like this. So now we have a kind of quite good railroad. So it has to be connected city to city and so on. So you just have to make sure that it's working like this. So first you lay a tile, or you can upgrade a tile. So lay or upgrade track. Upgrade can be done only in the green or the brown phase. So as soon as we are in the green or the brown phase, you can upgrade the tile, yellow to green, green to brown. But you have to make sure that the original lines are kept. So you cannot do like, I don't know, upgrade this one to like this, because the original one doesn't remain. So you just can do this one. And for example, and usually you will receive more money if you upgrade the tile. So from 20, if you upgrade this to this one, for example, you will keep this line. So this is a valid upgrade. You will have 30 revenue from this line, and there will be 2 places for companies. So upgrade is really an upgrade. So it's a better road. So you can just lay or upgrade a track. And then next step, you can place a station token. We have the home token already, but every company will have station tokens, which they can use to put it on the map. And they can put on an empty city which is connected to one of the one of the token already. So for this, if I go there, I can put a token here, so it's connected. If there is someone else, so another company here, of course you cannot put it, so it's blocked. You cannot do that, and it will cost money. On the charter, you see that the first one is free. This is the home token. Second one is 40, for example, and also 40. But some companies, this is also decision which company you buy. There is only one, the home token. There will be no other token. Sometimes just 2 or 3. So you will just have to make sure that you keep in mind as well. For example, this one you have just one, the home token, but this is in a very good place. So where is it? I don't find, yes, here, or maybe this one is a very good place, so you will just have less token to be able to place it. But you have to pay for it, so you will just have the tokens here, and when you put it on the mat, you will just have to pay for it from the company's money. It's important from the that this one is the company's operating. So in the operating run, you don't spend anything from your money, but only from the company's money. Okay, next one, you run the trains. So unfortunately, I just have to build again. Yes, so you decide that you would like to run your train. So first of all, when you have your first company, you don't have any train. So this step in the first operating run is skipped. You don't have any train, you cannot run it. So next one, distribute the earnings. No earnings because you don't have train. Next one, purchase train. So as I said, first you have to purchase the 2 trains, and here you see the price. So from the company's money, you pay 80, maybe 80 as well. There is a train limit. So this is what you have to keep in mind, that in this phase, the company can have 4 trains, so cannot have more. And later it will be less, so 4, 3, and then just 2 trains. So you have to keep in mind those. So you bought a train, and then you can purchase private companies. As I said, big companies can purchase private companies later in the game, but not in this phase, but later in the game. All right, and then next company, and these companies will operate in share price order. And when we have the next operating run, this company will already have a train, so it can operate, so it can run the trains. So how to run the train? Actually, you run the train in your head, so you calculate how much revenue it will give you. You will run it from between 2 revenue centers. So what is a revenue center? Revenue center is a city, or sometimes in other games, small towns. So from city to city, or there are these red outsider hexes which are already put on the map, and they are already written that in a yellow phase, in a brown phase, how much it will pay you as a revenue. But you can just run 2 train between 2 revenue centers. So from here, go until here. And you will check how much revenue it will give you. There is written on the map, so you see it there. It's 30, it's 20, so you have 50 money. You receive 50 from the bank, so you have 50 money to the company, so not to your personal money, but to the company, so 50. And now you have another 2 trains, so maybe you want to run these 2 trains as well. However, you cannot do it because you cannot run trains on the same roads, so you cannot do the same. And you cannot run, for example, from here to here because you don't have a company token here. So actually this is not your road. So between these two, you don't have a company token here. But if you put the token here, you can run the second train from here to here. So 20 plus 30, it's again 50 yen. You receive that money as well. So you always run all your trains as much as possible, and you have to calculate what is the best route to run those revenues. It's important to know that if there is another company's token on the tile, it's blocked, so you cannot go further. You can start from here and run, but you cannot go through a blocked city, so this is blocked for you. And there are some other rules, but this is the basic concept. So you will receive money running your trains between revenue centers, and the number which is on the trains, it indicates how many revenue centers it can run. And then you will receive the money. You decide whether you want to pay dividend or not. So for example, this company just generated 100 yen during this operating round. It decides, the company's director will decide. So it's important that if you are the director and you have the charter, you decide whether you want to pay dividend or not. You decide that yes, you want to pay dividend. So 100 is the revenue, and which means that this is the 100%. So, and every shareholder who has a 10% share will receive 10 money. So divide this, divide the revenue by 10. So maybe if you generated 200 revenue, every shareholder who has a share will receive 20 money from this. So 20. You will just, sort it out to everyone, and the rest in this game will be paid to the bank, because the rest is, with the, government or something. There are some differences by 18xx game. Sometimes when the company is floating, it will not receive the money, but it will receive the shares. And as soon as someone is buying a certificate, a share, the money which the player is spending will go to the company. So this is two different ways how the companies are work. In this game, the company will receive the 100% money of all the shares. So like you can imagine that the government is paying, or maybe the government is buying all the shares and paying to this company, so it will operate from this company. But if it pays out dividend, then pays out to all the shareholders, and the rest will go to the bank. All right, so actually that's all. I think that's enough to understand the basics, and in the next video I will show you online how it works, and it will be much more understandable.